This is chapter 10 of the book titled God's Gift to Women by Michael Baisden. Terry was in her office wrapping up a counseling session with an elderly couple. They were her last clients before lunch. She glanced at her watch while she discussed their problem. "So, Miss Adams, why do you need your husband to get down on all fours and bark like a dog in order to become sexually aroused?" Terry asked. "I don't know. Maybe it's because my father never let me have a dog when I was growing up." "Mr. Adams, why not bark if it turns your wife on?" "Because she'll only come up with something even more ridiculous. She's never satisfied. Our love life was fine until she started watching that program on HBO about those four nasty women." "What program is that, Miss Adams?" "He's talking about Sex in the City. I love that show. Don't you, Dr. Ross?" "I've seen it a couple times, but let's stay focused on the issue. What's so interesting about that program to you?" "It gives me new sexual ideas," she blushed. "Did you see the episode when Samantha had a lesbian affair and her lover squirted in her face while she was giving her oral sex? You see what I'm talking about? Every week I gotta deal with this nonsense," Mr. Adams yelled. "I'm damn near 65 years old. I don't want to feel like I'm competing in the Olympics every time we have sex." Terry stood up and walked behind them. When she was out of their sight, she turned back and covered her mouth. She laughed so hard, tears were forming in her eyes. "So, Doc, what should I do?" Mr. Adams asked. She wanted to say, "Let her squirt in your face. You might like it." But instead, she composed herself and gave him the clinical response. "Mr. Adams, does barking like a dog make you feel degraded?" "No, just stupid. It's hard enough to have sex in the missionary position with a bad back. Now I've got to roll around on the floor too? To hell with that." "Wait a second, Mr. Adams. Don't you have sexual fantasies?" Terry asked. "There's got to be something naughty you've always wanted to do with your wife." He sat there with his hand on his chin and looked off into the space as he was painting a picture. Then he leaned back and smiled. "What is it, sweetheart? Come on, tell me," Miss Adams said. "I'm too embarrassed to say." "Don't be," Terry said. "I'm a professional. There's nothing you can say that I haven't heard 1,000 times." "Okay, here it goes." He turned toward his wife and looked at her with a serious expression. "I've always wanted you to come to bed dressed up in leather and high-heel boots." "No problem, sweetheart. I can do that." "Wait, there's more. I also want a teenage girl dressed as a French maid in the bed with us." Miss Adams stood up and slapped him in the face. "You can go to hell with that, you old pervert." Then she stormed out of the office. A few seconds later, Mr. Adams calmly put on his dark shades and old gray brim and walked toward the door. "Well, Doc, I guess you can cancel that appointment for next week. I don't think she'll be asking me to bark like a dog anytime soon." He tipped his hat and backed out the door, wearing a sly grin. Terry plopped down in her chair, leaned back, and stretched her feet out on her desk. Talk about reverse psychology. Just then, the receptionist, Helen, called Terry on the intercom. "Dr. Ross, Janet is here." "Send her in." "Also, there's a carrier here with the package." "Tell him to leave it with you." "I think you might want to sign for this personally. It's not FedEx." "Okay, send them both in." The carrier entered the office carrying a dozen yellow roses and a small white box. Janet made room on Terry's desk. After signing the receipt, Terry sat down and stared at the box. You want me to call the bomb squad? Janet joked. Very funny. I'm just not in a hurry. Well, my lunch break is over in 30 minutes, and I'm curious. You mean nosy? Whatever, Janet said. You know who it's from. I don't know why you tripping. What do you know about him? Terry asked. I'm a single woman with no kids, no man, and no life, Janet said. I know everything about everybody. Is he married? No. Does he have kids? A 10-year-old daughter? Is he dating? I don't think so. Is he gay? I hope not. Is he... Stop it, Terry. Janet cut her off. I've already been through this interrogation with Julian. Why don't you go out with him and get it over with? I don't think so. Why not? You know you like him. You were blushing like a teenager when you came into the studio yesterday. I haven't seen you smile like that in over a year. He's nothing special. They never are. Who is this talking? Not Dr. Terry Ross, the strong, independent, BMW driving superwoman. What are you talking about? I can't believe you're still holding on to that shit you went through with Michael. That was more than a year ago. Let it go. Terry put her head down on her desk and turned back and forth in her chair. You know I hate it when you're right. Yup. It's just hard for me to trust again, you know? I wasted 2 years of my life on Michael. I cooked and cleaned for him, supported him in his career, and paid most of the bills. Then one day, out of the blue, he tells me that he's still in love with his ex-wife. Well, like my mama used to say, everybody plays the fool at least once in their life. You're right, he was a fool. I'm talking about you, Doc, Janet said bluntly. You were the one who allowed a grown man to move in with no money and bad credit. You were the one who chose to babysit his badass kids. And you were the one who allowed him to play house for a year without putting a ring on your finger. It's not my fault I was in love. He should have told me he wasn't ready to make a commitment. He kept saying he needed more time. He needed more time, all right. More time to drive your car and spend your money. Fuck you, Janet. You don't know how it feels to love somebody and have it all taken away overnight. Terry yelled. Get out of my office. Janet calmly got up and walked toward the door. You don't have a monopoly on pain, Terry. We've all been down that road. But sooner or later, you've got to unload the baggage. Otherwise, you'll never be ready for the right man when he does come along. Then she walked out. Terry buried her face in her hands and began to cry. When she got up for a tissue, she passed by the flowers on her desk. The fragrance and the beauty of the arrangement made her smile. While she dapped at her eyes, she opened the box. Inside was a copy of the book, The Maintenance Man, and an envelope. She pulled out the card and opened it, and a check fell to the floor. When she picked it up, she saw that it was made payable to the Genesis Foundation, her battered woman's shelter. The amount was $500. The inscription on the card read, "Call me if you need a little maintenance, smile, or just a friend to talk to. Please try to listen to my show tonight. I have a special song I'd like to play for you. Yours truly, Julian." P.S. Here's a little something I thought up while waiting in line to buy this car. I call it above average. Terry leaned back in her chair and cleared her throat. Then she began reading, doing her best to sound poetic. What do you see when you look at me? Is it just charm and good looks? A great personality? Do you see another brother? Just like any other? Just out to get what he can get? Nothing serious, just a quick lover. Is that all you see when you see me? Then take this opportunity to get to know me. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm a 12 and a half. I'm unlike the brothers you've encountered. I'm unlike any man in your past. I'm not your average brother. I don't play games. I know you've heard that before, but please allow me to explain. I don't run from commitment. I face it. I don't look for love, but if it comes, I embrace it. I'm not perfect. I'm no saint, but an average, ordinary brother? No, my sister, that I ain't. Terry leaned forward and enjoyed a long whiff of the yellow roses. Michael never brought me flowers, she said to herself, and he damn sure wasn't considerate enough to donate any money. That's exactly what I thought when I saw the check, Janet said while sticking her head in the door. I know the carrier from church. He let me take a peek in the box. Get your butt in here, girl. Terry and Janet met at the center of the office and hugged. I came back to say I was sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. You just told me what I needed to hear. That's what true friends are supposed to do. True friends should also tell you when it's time to eat, Janet laughed. Let's go down to the cafeteria and get some of those delicious chicken and dumplings. We probably won't have another soul food day until Black History Month. Terry grabbed her purse and turned off the lights. Before she walked out the door, she stopped and turned to Janet. You know, it's kind of funny how things work out in life, Terry said. What do you mean? I make my living talking to couples about their relationships and sex issues. What's so funny about that? I haven't been in a relationship or had good sex in over a year. Terry walked over and picked up the maintenance man from off her desk. I think I'll look at this during lunch. Maybe I can get some tips on how to get my tires rotated and oil changed. I need a serious tune-up. Tune-up? Janet said. Hell, I need an overhaul. That is the end of chapter 10. Stay tuned.